probably watched Twister and thought, yeah, I know this movie. Flying cows, massive tornadoes, Bill Paxton yelling into the wind. But behind all of the chaos is a production that was completely out of control. Actors getting temporarily blinded, real buildings being bought for thousands of dollars just to be destroyed, and a movie set that nearly fell apart more than once. Today, we're looking at 15 crazy facts about Twister that will completely change how you see the film. And by the time we get to number 1, you're going to see that it's a miracle that the movie even made it through production. But before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, because it's the best way to support the channel. Number 15. Joss Whedon joined Twister's production in early of 1994, but things did not go as planned. The movie was already dealing with big problems when he was brought in to improve the script, and at that time, he had made a name for himself as a skilled script doctor and screenwriter in Hollywood. Before joining Twister, he had written for popular television shows like Roseanne and Parenthood in the late 80s and early 90s, and also wrote the script for the first Buffy the Vampire Slayer in 1992. However, he did not like how it turned out because the movie ended up being a silly comedy instead of the serious story that he had imagined. So, for Twister, his task would be to make the dialogue better and build stronger chemistry between the main characters, Dr. Joe Harding, played by Helen Hunt, and Bill the Extreme Harding, played by Bill Paxton.
Jesus Christ, listen to yourself, you're obsessed!
You've never seen what that thing can do, so don't talk to me about it! You've never seen it!
For months, he had worked hard to build up the relationship between the two, making them feel like real people. But then he had to step away from the project because he got bronchitis, and that meant that somebody else had to take over. So, screenwriter Steven Zaillian came in to work on the script while Whedon was recovering, and when he got better, he then came back in May of '95 to keep working on revisions as the movie started filming. However, he left the project once again, this time to get married, and after doing so, Jeff Nathanson was brought to the set in Oklahoma to make last-minute changes, especially to the dialogue in the car scenes, until filming had finished. Looking back, Whedon said, "There are things that worked and things that weren't the way I intended them." Number 14. The production of Twister came to a sudden and heartbreaking stop on April 19th of 1995 when the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was bombed. 168 people had lost their lives and over 650 were injured. It would be one of the worst domestic terrorist attacks in U.S. history at the time. The film's cast and crew were working nearby in Oklahoma when the tragedy took place, and production was immediately halted as the team joined the community in mourning and recovery efforts. During the shutdown, they showed remarkable unity and compassion. Many of the cast and crew devoted their time and resources to help the victims and first responders on the scene.
Careful, Dr. Joe, any second.
They contributed supplies, donated what they could, and worked to support those who were directly affected by the unimaginable loss. The experience had deeply impacted everyone involved. Even when filming started again, there was a noticeable sadness on set as the team dealt with the emotions of what they had experienced. The events had changed how they showed destruction in the movie, bringing deeper meaning to the scenes that were filmed there. Filming had already been tough because of creative disagreements and risky conditions on set, and the bombing added a whole new level of difficulty, but the cast and crew persevered. They incorporated their experiences into the performances, resulting in a much more authentic film. Number 13. During filming, the actors faced some shocking and quite painful challenges. To recreate stormy skies for the tornado chase scenes, the crew used 4 massive 16,000-watt industrial lights. These lights were aimed directly at Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt while they sat in the cab of a truck. And because of this, both of them suffered painful retinal burns.
Would I drive?
No!
Then would you?
Whoa!
Paxton would later describe the injury as having sunburned his eyeballs, and when he got back to his hotel room, he couldn't see anything at all. It was a scary moment for both the cast and the crew. To prevent any further damage, the crew quickly added plexiglass filters to the lights and provided eye drops and protective glasses for the actors. But the rough conditions on set don't end there. During one particular chase scene, Helen Hunt hit her head on a low wooden bridge and had to have medical attention. On top of it all, both of them had to get hepatitis shots after filming in unsanitary areas full of muddy water and debris. Number 12. In 2013, a surprising claim surfaced during a lawsuit filed by Lisa Sanderson, a former business partner of country star Garth Brooks. According to the lawsuit, Brooks had turned down a role in the film Twister, and that was because he believed the tornado was the true star of the movie. Brooks allegedly didn't want to share the spotlight with the powerful special effects-driven weather phenomenon. This lawsuit also claimed that he had declined other major roles, including one in Saving Private Ryan, due to creative disagreements and high demands. The character of Dusty was eventually brought to life by Philip Seymour Hoffman. He made his screen debut in '91, gaining attention by bringing depth to small roles in films and television. Early in his career, Seymour Hoffman would be credited as Phil Hoffman. His first movie was Triple Bogey on a Par 5 hole in '91, an independent film. He would later appear in My New Gun and had a small role in Leap of Faith with Steve Martin. Known for being funny, energetic, and enthusiastic, Dusty added humor to the film. Hoffman's acting had made him a fun character who brought light moments to balance the scary tornado scenes. One memorable moment was his delivery of the line, "The Wonder of Nature," during a chaotic tornado chase.
It's the wonder of nature, baby!
His performance would gain widespread admiration, helping to solidify his early career. When he passed away in 2014, Twister remained one of his most recognized and celebrated roles. Brooks' decision not to take the role indirectly influenced the dynamic of the film. With Hoffman in the part, the character left a lasting impression and became an iconic element of the movie. It also helped to keep the movie focused on its main stars. The tornado scenes stayed the highlight and were amazing for their time, and Garth Brooks may have thought that the tornado was the star, but Philip Seymour Hoffman made Dusty a character that fans will always remember. Number 11. The digital cow, which appears during the tornado chase scene at around the 42-minute mark, was not made from scratch, but instead it started its life as a zebra. The CGI cow was actually adapted from a zebra model. They then retextured and modified it to look like a cow instead.
Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows. Another cow.
Actually, I think that was the same one.
In '95 and '96, making CGI from scratch cost a whole lot of money and took enormous amounts of time, and that's why it was a smart way to save time and money. The tornado scene was brought to life using ILM's Dynamation systems, led by effects supervisor Habib Zargapur. This system animated millions of particles into simulated debris and wild airflow, making the tornado to look as real as possible. And right in the middle of the chaos, audiences saw the cow being lifted and thrown by the wind. Helen Hunt's calm response, simply saying "cow," followed by "another cow," and Bill Paxton's quip, "I think that was the same cow," added humor that made the moment unforgettable. So it's no surprise this iconic scene is still quoted and remembered decades later. What's more, the amazing effects in Twister did not go unnoticed. The movie earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Visual Effects at the 1997 Oscars. ILM's work on the tornado simulations and creative use of CGI, including the flying cow, played a huge role in its recognition. Number 10. Imagine the roar of a Boeing 707 mounted on a truck, blasting such powerful wind that it could throw tables and chairs into the air as though they were nothing.
The wind machine that they had was a 707 jet motor mounted on a 40-foot truck with another 40-foot container above it to push debris into it.
The production team went to extremes to make the tornado scenes feel as real as possible. They wanted the audience to feel the chaos and power of a storm firsthand. Shockingly, these were real winds hitting speeds of over 100 miles an hour, making the set feel like the actors were standing in the middle of an actual tornado. To make it even more crazy, they added massive industrial fans, debris launchers, and rigs that could collapse structures in a split second. The goal was to capture as much action as possible on camera without heavily leaning on computer-generated effects. The wind was so loud the crew could not hear each other, and that made it hard to talk and give directions. Real debris and fake hail made of ice were thrown at the cast, which made the scene even more intense. Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton had to struggle to stay standing, and that gave viewers some of the most realistic action seen in the movie. Number 9. It's crazy to think it, but the team actually tore apart a real town just for the movie. They picked Waukeeta, a town hit hard by a hailstorm in 1993, and many of the buildings had already been damaged. But it wasn't a small production. Warner Brothers bought up 8 entire blocks of homes and buildings in the town, paying $7,000 to $10,000 for each of them, and they did it all with the sole purpose of having them destroyed. Some of the buildings were real, while others were fake structures built just to be demolished on camera. They turned it into a full-scale disaster zone that looked real. But they didn't stop at just knocking down a few buildings. Streets were filled with head-high debris that stretched across multiple blocks, and they even hauled in rubble and debris from other towns to make everything look as convincing as possible. To make the scenes of chaos look even more realistic, some storefronts were decked out with fake fronts, which were then ripped off and replaced with more wreckage. The production made it their mission to create one of the most believable disaster environments that Hollywood had ever seen. And even the house shown as Aunt Meg's home in the movie was completely destroyed during filming. Many don't see that it ended up being a win-win for everyone involved. Waukeeta had already needed help after the storm and was looking to tear down its rundown buildings. Thanks to the project, they got rid of those structures, and Warner Brothers cleaned up the area after the shoot, leaving behind a lot of cleared lots. Some parts were rebuilt, but the brick and debris from the destroyed buildings weren't just thrown away. Instead, they were turned into collectibles, like ones labeled Twister Waukeeta 95. On top of that, Waukeeta made the entire experience last by opening the Twister Museum. Fans can still visit today and see how this famous movie changed the small town forever. Number 8. The DVD format was officially launched in the US on March 19th of 97, marking the beginning of a new era in home entertainment. Amongst the first titles released was Twister. At the time, DVDs were high-tech and exciting, offering better sound and visuals than VHS or Laserdisc. Twister was perfect for showing off the new technology. With its storms and intense action scenes, it combined with Dolby Digital surround sound and improved picture clarity, the movie became a way for studios to prove how much better the DVDs were. This made Twister one of the first movies that a lot of people experienced on the format. Months earlier, the VHS had hit the market in October of 1996, and by March of 97, the DVD was here. Now, that was an incredibly fast turnaround. It was also the first Warner home video release to be TeachX certified, meaning it had amazing sound and picture quality. And when Netflix began in 1998 as a DVD rental by mail service, Twister was one of the first movies they offered. The timing of its home video release was no accident. Warner Brothers had moved the movie's theatrical release from May 17th to May 10th of 1996 to avoid competition with Mission Impossible. That small change made it a big difference. Twister earned $41.4 million in its first weekend, becoming the #1 film at the box office. The scheduling choice helped to kick off one of the biggest summers in blockbuster history. Number 7. Dodge Ram sales nearly doubled because of the film. That's some serious movie power. Twister practically turned the Dodge Ram pickup into a pop culture legend. The bright red 95 Dodge Ram 2500 with its V10 engine was the hero, and Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt drove through tornadoes and wild storms in that truck. It carried the tornado research device Dorothy and stayed strong all through the action. While the Ram's second-generation redesign in '94 had already sparked interest, Twister took it to a brand new level. Before the movie came out, sales of the Ram were kind of low, but after Twister, they shot up almost 480,000, and by '99, yearly sales were over 400,000. The movie showed people how tough and strong the truck was, making it more than just a product placement. Viewers saw it crash through debris, drive through tornadoes, and handle everything without falling apart, and anyone who watched the movie could see the truck was made to handle it all. Twister had made the Ram look like the toughest truck around, but Chrysler didn't stop with just one. They also included Dakotas and Caravans and went all out, even outbidding Ford to get their trucks in the film. They gave the filmmakers several Rams, including a special one made for stunts. They went through a lot during filming. Windshields broke, debris hit them, and they faced all kinds of damage. But instead of looking weak, they looked strong. Even the bad guy drove black, boring vehicles while the heroes had bright red Rams. It made the Rams stand out even more. And because of it all, some people think that Twister was a 2-hour ad for the Dodge. Number 6. The two minor characters in Twister, Stanley and Kubrick, may seem insignificant at first, but the names are not random at all. They're actually a hidden tribute to the legendary filmmaker himself. The filmmakers cleverly added his name into the story as a nod to his influence. Ben Weber plays Stanley and Nicholas Sadler plays Kubrick. That's because Kubrick's 1980 masterpiece, The Shining, plays an unforgettable role in one of the movie's most striking scenes. You remember the drive-in movie theater? You know, the one where a tornado tears through the screen mid-movie? The film being shown at that moment is The Shining. The director even went the extra mile, getting special permission from Stanley Kubrick himself to include the iconic clip. It felt like a direct connection to Kubrick's themes of suspense and chaos, adding a layer of meaning to the scene. But it wasn't the first time that Spielberg's work referenced classic horror. The Shining and Psycho link back to earlier Spielberg films. Movies like Jurassic Park have a similar suspenseful moments, and it's like a secret connection for fans to find. When you watch the credits, you see Stanley and Kubrick because people didn't even notice it the first time. Number 5. Cary Elwes, who played Dr. Jonas Miller, originally had a much bigger role, and early cuts of the film gave him more screen time and depth. It showed him as a true rival to Joe and Bill. His team, backed by corporate funding, was meant to be in sharp contrast to Joe's grassroots storm chasing, but most of it was cut. That's because the movie had to stay fast-paced and action-packed. Running 113 minutes, editors had to trim out subplots to focus on the tornado scenes and Joe and Bill's relationship. Budget pressures also played a big role. Twister cost nearly $88 million to make, and the studio prioritized special effects over character moments. Because of it all, Jonas became more of a basic villain, popping up only in small scenes.
What is the matter with you?
You stole my design, you son of a bitch!
Calm down! The hell are you talking about?
Dorothy, you took her, you damn thief!
Despite Jonas having a smaller role, he still made an impact. Fans loved the energy, which was different from his heroic role as Wesley in The Princess Bride. Some of the best scenes were cut. Hugh Laurie and Alec Baldwin were also considered to play Jonas. There was another casting surprise as well. Mira Sorvino was the first choice for Melissa Reeves, but Jamie Gertz got the part. If Sorvino had dyed her hair brown, would that have changed the movie's feel? Number 4. After the film came out, more people became interested in studying meteorology. One big change happened at the University of Oklahoma, known for its tornado research. Normally about 80 to 90 students join their freshman meteorology program each year, but after the movie, that number grew, jumping from 225 students to 450. Universal Studios gave the school a grant to help them build a mobile radar unit. This happened because the movie showed scientists as heroes. It threw real meteorology terms like CAPE and wall cloud into the spotlight, and even the fictional Dorothy device was inspired by real NOAA technology. The mix of science and adventure had inspired a new generation of meteorologists, some of whom work today at places like the National Severe Storms Laboratory.
It's an instrument pack for studying tornadoes. First one in history.
It's very exciting. Scientists have been studying tornadoes forever, but still nobody knows how a tornado works.
Number 3. After Bill Paxton's death, 200 storm chasers spelled out his initials with their Jeep's coordinates. After actor Bill Paxton passed away in February of 2017, storm chasers did something unforgettable to bring him honor. Nearly 200 used their coordinates to create a massive tribute on the Spotter Network map. They spelled out BP, Bill Paxton's initials, across Tornado Alley. The tribute stretched through parts of Texas, Kansas, and Oklahoma, including Waukeeta, the town featured heavily in the film. For storm chasers, Twister would be a source of inspiration. The film had sparked a passion for storms in many of these chasers, with Paxton's role leaving a lasting impact. John Whedon, president of the Spotter Network, had shared that this kind of tribute had never been done before for someone outside of the community. Waukeeta held its own memorial for Paxton. The town had a special bond with the actor, who often visited and donated signed memorabilia to the Twister Museum. He chose meaningful connections over big paychecks, famously turning down more money for a sequel in order to keep ties to the town that helped to bring Twister to life. Number 2. With Tom Hanks being deeply involved in shaping the character for Twister at first, he worked hard to make sure every detail felt perfect before eventually stepping away. He helped to pick out the character's clothing to give him a unique style, a mixture of eccentric and southern. He chose an entire outfit for the character but never wore them because he decided the role wasn't right for where he wanted his career to go at the time. Instead, while working on Apollo 13, he recognized someone perfect for the role. He saw that Bill Paxton had the exact energy that the character needed. Without hesitation, he recommended Paxton to executive producer Steven Spielberg. Paxton then took on the role, keeping the wardrobe that Hanks had chosen, and brought the character to life. Funnily enough, he didn't even meet Spielberg until over a year after the film's release, and when they finally met, Spielberg said, "Thanks for making me a lot of money." Number 1. 5 weeks into filming, while shooting a scene in a ditch, the director shoved a camera assistant who had missed a cue, causing the assistant to fall. The incident triggered immediate backlash. The director refused to apologize, and that's when cinematographer Don Burgess had had enough. He led the entire crew off set, but it didn't end there. The sound team left, and the wardrobe department walked out, and filming came to a complete stop. Steven Spielberg flew down to Oklahoma to deal with the crisis, but according to stunt coordinator Mick Rogers, his solution was far from ordinary. He never even got off the plane. But instead, the director was summoned to the airport, where Spielberg delivered a legendary tongue lashing. Standing at the top of the plane's stairs, he reportedly yelled and pointed at the director for 15 straight minutes before flying away. His spokesperson denies the story, but it remains one of Hollywood's most shocking behind-the-scenes moments. After it all, a new cinematographer would be brought in to replace the departing crew, but even he wasn't spared of the chaos. Near the end of filming, a hydraulic house set accidentally activated while Green was inside, and a falling ceiling injured his back. With Green out, the director had to shoot the final moments himself. Now be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you know every time I upload another great video like this. Got any suggestions? Be sure to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.